Ever wonder if there's a philosophy that says reality is just a simulation? Well, there is. We humans have been pondering the big questions for millennia, and some of the answers we've come up with are, let's just say, a little out there. Join me as we explore some of the strangest, most mind-bending philosophies you've probably never heard of. We're talking about ideas that will make you question reality, embrace chaos, and maybe even consider uploading your consciousness to a computer. Buckle up, because things are about to get weird. Have you ever looked around and thought, what if none of this is real? I mean, what if this whole world, everyone you know, even that delicious slice of pizza you had last night, is all just a figment of your imagination? Sounds like a bad acid trip, right? Well, that's the basic idea behind solipsism. Now, before you dismiss it as utter nonsense, consider this. How can you be absolutely, positively, 100% certain that anything outside your own mind actually exists? You can pinch yourself, but what if that sensation of pain is just another illusion? See, solipsism isn't about denying the existence of the external world outright. It's more about acknowledging the limits of our own perception. It's like saying, look, I can't prove definitively that any of you are real, but for the sake of my sanity, let's just assume you are. Think of it like this. When you dream, the dream feels incredibly real, right? You interact with other dream characters, you experience emotions, you might even feel physical sensations. It's only when you wake up that you realize it was all in your head. So how do you know you're not just living in a really, really elaborate dream right now? Philosophers have been grappling with this mind-bending concept for centuries. René Descartes, the guy who famously said, "I think, therefore I am," even dabbled in solipsistic thought experiments. He realized that the only thing he could be truly certain of was his own existence, because he was the one doing the thinking. Of course, solipsism has its critics. It's a bit of a philosophical dead end, isn't it? If we can't be sure anything outside our own minds exists, then what's the point of interacting with the world, building relationships, or even getting out of bed in the morning? But here's the thing about solipsism. Even if it's impossible to disprove, it's also a pretty lonely and impractical way to live. It's like refusing to believe in gravity because you can't see it. Sure, you can choose to ignore it, but eventually, you're going to fall flat on your face. So, while solipsism might keep you up at night with existential dread, it's probably not the best philosophy to base your life on. All right, let's talk about entropy. No, not the kind your science teacher droned on about in high school. I'm talking about the cosmic kind, the kind that says everything in the universe eventually falls apart. Now, most people find this concept a bit depressing. It's like watching your favorite ice cream melt on a hot summer day, inevitable and kind of sad. But what if I told you there's a philosophy that embraces this inevitable decline into chaos? Enter the cult of the second law of thermodynamics. Yes, you heard that right. A cult devoted to the idea that everything tends towards disorder. Now, these weren't your typical robe-wearing, chanting-in-the-woods kind of cultists. These were intellectuals, writers, artists, people who saw a strange kind of beauty in the universe's slow march towards chaos. Think about it. The universe started with a big bang, this incredibly ordered, dense point of energy. And ever since then, it's been expanding, cooling, spreading out, basically becoming more random and chaotic. And according to the second law, this trend will continue. Stars will burn out, galaxies will drift apart, and eventually, even black holes will evaporate. It's a bleak picture, but for the followers of this strange philosophy, it was also strangely liberating. See, if everything is destined to fall apart anyway, then why bother with all the rules and structures we impose on ourselves? Why cling to order when chaos is the natural order of things? This philosophy isn't about actively destroying things, mind you. It's more about accepting the impermanence of everything and finding a way to be okay with that. Imagine a world where you don't sweat the small stuff. You spill your coffee? No big deal. Entropy was going to get to it eventually anyway. Your plans fall apart? Embrace the chaos. Something interesting might come out of it. Of course, living like this takes a certain kind of personality. You have to be comfortable with uncertainty, adaptable to change, and maybe just a little bit nihilistic. But there's a certain freedom in letting go of the need to control everything. It's about accepting that the universe is a messy, unpredictable place. And sometimes, the best thing you can do is just ride the wave of chaos and see where it takes you. Okay, let's talk about something that might make your head spin a little. The idea that life is inherently meaningless. Now, before you reach for that existential dread button, hear me out. This is the heart of absurdism. a philosophy that says the universe doesn't care about us, there's no grand plan, and we're all just here for the ride. Sounds pretty bleak, right? But here's the twist. Absurdism isn't about wallowing in despair. It's about recognizing the absurdity of it all and choosing to rebel against it by living life to the fullest. One of the most famous proponents of absurdism was the writer Albert Camus. He compared the human condition to the myth of Sisyphus, a guy condemned to push a boulder up a hill for all eternity, only to have it roll back down each time. Talk about a pointless existence. But Camus argued that we should imagine Sisyphus happy. Why? Because in that endless, meaningless struggle, he finds a sense of purpose. He chooses to defy the absurdity of his fate by embracing it. Absurdism is about acknowledging the tension between our inherent desire for meaning and the universe's indifference to our search for it. It's about saying, okay, so life might not have an inherent purpose, but that doesn't mean I can't create my own. This philosophy encourages us to embrace the freedom that comes with accepting the meaningless of it all. It's about finding joy in the everyday, pursuing our passions, and connecting with others, not because it all leads to some grand cosmic goal, but simply because we can. It's about rebelling against the absurd by creating our own meaning in a meaningless world. So next time you're feeling lost or questioning the point of it all, remember Sisyphus and his boulder. Embrace the absurdity, find joy in the struggle, and create your own meaning in a universe that might not offer any. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to dive into the deep end of weird philosophy. Get ready to explore the future of humanity, or should I say, the post-humanity. We're talking about a world where humans and technology merge in ways that would make your head spin. Imagine a world where you could upload your consciousness into a computer, shed your physical body, and exist purely as digital information. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, that's the basic premise behind transhumanism and posthumanism, two intertwined philosophies that explore the potential for technology to fundamentally alter what it means to be human. Now, before you dismiss this as pure science fiction, consider the advances we've made in just the past few decades. Artificial intelligence is becoming more sophisticated every day. We're developing brain-computer interfaces that allow us to control machines with our thoughts, and the concept of virtual reality is becoming increasingly immersive. So is it really that far-fetched to imagine a future where we can transfer our consciousness into a more durable, perhaps even immortal form? Transhumanists believe that we should use technology to enhance our physical and cognitive abilities, overcome disease and aging, and ultimately transcend our current human limitations. Posthumanists take this a step further, envisioning a future where we've moved beyond our current human form altogether, perhaps existing as digital consciousnesses, uploaded minds, or even disembodied intelligences spread across the internet. Now, this raises a whole host of ethical and philosophical questions. What happens to our identity when we merge with technology? If we can upload our consciousness, does that mean we can create copies of ourselves? And if so, are those copies still us? And what are the societal implications of a world where some humans choose to enhance themselves while others remain unenhanced? These are questions that philosophers, ethicists, and scientists are grappling with right now. The future of humanity might be stranger than we can even imagine. So buckle up, because the ride is just getting started. So there you have it, a glimpse into some of the strangest, most mind-bending philosophies out there. From questioning the nature of reality to embracing the chaos of the universe, these ideas might seem outlandish, but they force us to confront some of the biggest questions about existence, meaning, and what it means to be human. If you could follow any of these strange philosophies, which one would you choose? Which one of these feels like the most freaky idea to you? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going.